In the small town of Willow Creek, 6-year-old Liam was known for his boundless curiosity and wild imagination. He spent most of his days exploring the woods behind his house, pretending to be a brave adventurer. Armed with a wooden sword carved by his grandfather, Liam imagined battling dragons, discovering hidden treasures, and befriending magical creatures. One crisp autumn afternoon, as golden leaves blanketed the ground, Liam ventured into the woods. The sunlight filtered through the trees, creating patterns that danced on the forest floor. Liam was humming a tune he had learned at school when he suddenly heard a faint, pitiful chirping sound. He stopped in his tracks and looked around. "What was that?" he whispered to himself. Following the sound, Liam pushed aside a bush and found a small bird lying on the ground. Its feathers were ruffled, and its wing was bent at an odd angle. The bird looked up at him with frightened eyes, chirping weakly. "Oh no," Liam said, kneeling beside it. "You're hurt." Liam hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to do, but then he remembered what his mother always said. "If you see someone, or something, that needs help, never ignore it." Gently, he scooped up the bird and cradled it in his hands. "Don't worry, little bird. I'll take care of you." Liam ran back home, bursting through the door. His mother, who was baking cookies in the kitchen, looked up in surprise. "Liam, what's the rush?" she asked. "Mom, I found a bird in the woods. It's hurt. Can we help it?" he said, holding out the tiny creature. His mother wiped her hands on her apron and came over to inspect the bird. "It looks like its wing is broken," she said gently, "but we can try to help it heal." Together, they created a cozy little nest for the bird using an old shoebox, soft cloth, and some dried grass. Liam decided to name the bird Chirpy because of its faint, persistent chirps. From that day on, Liam dedicated himself to caring for Chirpy. He woke up early every morning to check on the bird, feeding it breadcrumbs soaked in water. He even read stories to it, convinced that his voice would make it feel better. "You're my new best friend," Liam told Chirpy one afternoon as the bird rested in its box. "When you get better, I'll show you all my secret spots in the woods." Days turned into weeks, and Chirpy began to recover. At first, it only hopped around its box, but soon it started fluttering its wings. Liam was overjoyed. "Mom, look, Chirpy's trying to fly," he exclaimed one evening. His mother smiled. "That's a good sign, Liam. It means Chirpy is healing. But you know what this means, don't you?" Liam's smile faded. "You mean I have to let Chirpy go?" His mother nodded. "Birds are meant to fly free, Liam. You've done a wonderful job taking care of Chirpy, but now it's time for it to return to the wild." Liam didn't say anything, but that night he sat by Chirpy's box, feeling a lump in his throat. "What if something bad happens to you out there?" he whispered to the bird. Chirpy chirped softly, as if trying to reassure him. On a bright, sunny morning, Liam decided it was time. He carried Chirpy's box back to the woods where he had found it. The air was crisp, and the trees swayed gently in the breeze. Liam placed the box on the ground and opened the lid. "Go on, Chirpy," he said, his voice trembling. "It's time for you to fly." Chirpy hesitated for a moment, hopping to the edge of the box. It looked back at Liam, chirped once, and then flapped its wings. Slowly, it lifted off the ground, flying higher and higher until it disappeared into the trees. Liam watched until he could no longer see the bird. A mix of sadness and pride filled his heart. "You'll be okay," he whispered, wiping a tear from his cheek. The next few days felt quiet and lonely without Chirpy. Liam still went to the woods, but it wasn't the same. Then, one afternoon, as he played outside, he heard a familiar chirp. Looking up, he saw Chirpy perched on a branch of the big oak tree in his yard. The bird chirped joyfully, as if to say hello. "Chirpy!" Liam shouted, waving. Chirpy didn't stay long, but from that day on, it visited Liam regularly. Sometimes it would perch on his windowsill, chirping happily before flying off again. Liam always felt a burst of happiness whenever he saw his little friend. Word of Liam's kindness spread through the neighborhood. Soon, people started bringing him injured animals: a baby squirrel that had fallen from its nest, a stray kitten with a limp, and even a hedgehog that had wandered too close to a busy road. Liam cared for each one with the same love and dedication he had shown Chirpy. Over time, Liam's backyard became a haven for animals. He and his mother built small shelters and planted flowers that attracted bees and butterflies. Years passed, and Liam grew up, but he never forgot the little bird that had changed his life. Chirpy's visits eventually stopped, but Liam liked to imagine that it had started a family of its own somewhere in the woods. One day, as a grown man, Liam returned to the woods where he had first found Chirpy. Standing beneath the same tree, he smiled and whispered, "Thank you, Chirpy, for teaching me how to care, how to let go, and how to spread kindness." And with that, Liam walked back home, ready to continue his lifelong mission of helping others, both human and animal alike.